You are listening to the oneofus.net podcast network.
Something's coming.
Stand by. Hold on to your hats. Here we go.
Welcome to the ScreamCast episode 122. I am Sean Drager, and with me is Brad Henderson.
122. I feel so privileged.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Sean, for being here for 122 episodes.
BJ is not joining us because I totally fucked up and forgot to invite her in time because I've been insanely distracted because my wife hurt her knee and hasn't been able to walk. So I've been basically doing everything with 3 children. And I'm at my, what is it, the end of my rope?
Ooh.
Let's just say, it's moments like these.
Is that a cry out for help?
It is. It could be.
For a horror podcast, this just got pretty dark.
I know it did. No. All what I'm saying is, like, you married
We're
guys out
help.
there. If you have kids and like, I don't realize like how much shit my wife does until like I got to do all that shit. It's like, what the fuck? I'm a worthless piece of crap because I can't even keep up.
We are
with it.
sending help your way, Sean.
Yes.
We can do a therapy session. My dad is a flat Earth conspiracy believer.
What?
Yeah, that's it's happening.
You are jumping all over the place right now. Mind blowing everybody.
Christmas is a dark time, and we're going to be under a Trump presidency. So, how are you guys doing?
We're doing great.
Yeah, pretty good, actually. Doing all right.
Joining us on today's podcast, whatever, you're not listening specifically at night, dear listener. Jason Murphy joins us. He is the author of Black Goat Motorcycle Club.
Yes.
And an all-around writer of other things. So, Jason, tell me about this Black Goat Motorcycle Club, man.
Well, that's the one that's most pertinent to this whole endeavor, to being on ScreamCast, I think. That and having a long-standing love affair with Mr. Henderson. It's a novel I wrote. It was published by Sinister Grin Press back in February of 2016. I think it was February. And it's a horror novel. It's an action horror novel about a bunch of bikers laying siege to an isolated hospital, and then things get weird.
Nice.
Yeah, and I don't want to spoil anything. I thought it was obvious. I thought that the twists and turns that it takes were all okay. Good. Okay, good. I thought it was really straightforward.
I got stuff. Like I got it in the beginning, but once it went on, like I realized I didn't know as much as I thought I did. Maybe one of those situations.
Okay. Yeah.
It still took me by surprise because, like, I don't know. Well, because it's hard to say because you don't want to spoil anything. But I guess we'll talk offline about it. But as somebody that has read the book, even though I may be a little biased because I love Jason to death, it does take you by surprise, and it's got some fucked up shit.
Fucked up good.
Yeah, it's got some fucked up shit, but it is very I love siege movies. One of my favorite things is Assault on Precinct 13. And obviously, it feels like Jason is a fan of that from some of the things that happen in this book, novel, and especially just the siege in general. But very, like I felt like I was watching something from the 80s when I was like reading it, even like just how I was imagining things. But it's very like it's gritty, it's grimy, it's like exploitation type shit, but like very weird at the same time. But I think any horror fan will find love in it because it's what happens is a little familiar with what you see. But I do think the book does take a few twists and turns that are unexpected. Even though you're expecting something, you're more or less right, but there are still a few surprises along the way.
Well, I dig it just because of the title, because Black Rebel Motorcycle Club is a favorite band of mine. So I was like, shit. I mean, this is like that band, but with goats. I just imagined a band of goats riding motorcycles listening to hard rock.
Oh, you have read it. That's spoiler, Sean. Come on, man.
I'm looking forward to checking it out. So I'll be reading that very soon. For sure.
I hope you enjoy it. Yeah, it's fun. I wanted to write something simple and that kind of paid tribute to all of those like siege movies. I always loved like The Alamo. A handful of people up against impossible odds.
Yeah.
And yeah, but I found myself like when promoting the book and talking about it. I'm actually doing a podcast right now, a weekly, like 20-minute segment of the book in order. For free.
Nice.
Yeah, and you can find that on iTunes. Just look for Black Oak Motorcycle Club, or it's on SoundCloud, or you can go to my website. It's jasonsmurphy.com. But I'm doing that to promote the book. And in promoting the book, I was putting like hashtags in there that were giving all sorts of stuff away because I just thought, oh, it's obvious. It's obvious. Everybody knows. Everybody knows what's going on. So I would do just completely laying it out there. And I was talking to a friend who was listening to it for the first time. And he said, oh, I had no idea that was happening. I was like, oh man, seriously? Oh, and then I felt really bad. And so now I'm much more careful because apparently it's not obvious at all.
Well, I don't think it blindsides somebody. I mean, if it's blindsides you, then you're probably not paying attention,
right?
But I think that from from the opening sequence, which is one of my favorites in the book, from what happens later on with Whitey like going into the hospital, with the wheelbarrow, it's like, oh shit, like. That's probably what it is, but was Whitey drunk? Like, you're trying to think, and it's like, oh shit, no, this shit's really fucking happening. Like, that's a cool, like, portion of the book. It's like one of my favorites. But that's all, like, that's what I'm saying, like, the whole siege aspect of once the hospital shit goes down, and like, well, shit, I just forgot his name. Hank. The lead biker. No, that's Dr. Hank. Gideon. Yeah, Gideon is like walking through with like Panzer and shit. Like shit's like, that's definitely like some of my favorite shit in the book.
Awesome.
But yeah, I highly recommend it because it takes me a lot. It takes a lot for me to read a book because I do read, but I have limited time. So when I pick a book, I have to know it's going to be good because I really don't like to waste my time.
Or it has to have pictures in very large writing.
Yes, or boobs. That always helps as well. So
agreed.
I'm very careful because time's limited these days, man.
Tell me,
like everything that we do, and you don't want to waste your time. So this comes highly recommended. Like I said, I'm biased, but there's a reason why I'm biased because Jason's a fucking good writer. So
thanks, man. I appreciate that.
I suck your dick all the time, so shut up.
It's true. It's true. I finished my my wife finished my new novel last night. She finished reading it, and she looked at me and she was like, "Okay, so you promise you're not a serial killer?" She was like, "'Cause there's some dark shit going on in there," and I was like, "Yeah, I know, right?" It's a very different book, but hopefully I'll have that one out. Publisher says by the summer.
Nice. Do you get super nervous having your wife read the book? Like, do you feel like she's getting into a portion of your brain that she hasn't really dove into yet? I feel like that happens when I talk to my wife about stuff. I get caught up and I'll start describing stuff, and she looks at me like, "Who the fuck are you?"
I'm an open book, I think. So I don't know. I like to think that there aren't really any surprises, but apparently there are. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll need a place to stay soon, guys. So, we'll see. But yeah, it's, I don't really get nervous. I'm like, well, either I don't think there are going to be any surprises. And if there are, then I'm just kind of like,
just roll with it, baby.
Yeah, exactly.
Very nice. So you have those, what's the title of that book? Can you?
Oh yeah. The title of the new one is called The Midnight Murder Hour.
Ooh.
And it's a much stranger, it's much closer to me, to my predilections. It's a much stranger book than, the Black Goat Motorcycle Club. It's much more in the vein of, something like A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Nice. Fantastic. What other, projects can you discuss about your writing that people should, keep an eye out for?
A movie I wrote called 200 Hours is in post-production. It was directed by Philip Guzman, starring a number of people you guys might recognize, namely like Brea Grant. She's in it. A handful of other folks, but Brea's like the most horror-centric one, as she pops up in all sorts of stuff now. That will come out sometime next year. We're in post right now, so it'll take a while. There's no release date or anything just yet. What else? Got that, working on, some other, screenplays and stuff, for various, adaptations, starting a new novel. And I am on, I'm leaving something out, working on a comic book. Working on, every week. Sorry, I'm all over the place. Every week, every Friday on YouTube, you can find me as one of the hosts of a show called The Modern Rogue, which is kind of a spin-off, not even a spin-off. It's not a spin-off. It's a spiritual successor, you could say, of the TV show that I had on National Geographic called Hacking the System.
Okay.
It's basically...
Which is on Netflix too, right?
It is on Netflix. Yeah, you can watch it on Netflix. On the Netflix show on Hacking the System, I was a segment producer and I did a lot of came up with a lot of the ideas and everything. And I was the main host's idiot assistant. And now, he and I, Brian Brushwood, are doing this weekly show on YouTube where we have complete creative freedom. So it's both of us doing little, 5, 10, 15-minute segments a week where it's kind of like Mythbusters with a little bit of Jackass and MacGyver. Yeah, we like this, as of this recording, we made, the last episode was us making nunchucks out of magazines. And, we blow stuff up. We talk about, weird internet stuff, hacking, drink recipes, stuff like that. It's called The Modern Rogue for a reason. So it's all about teaching you how to be the ultimate badass, even though we're not the ultimate badasses.
And
awesome.
Then, was it on Modern Rogue you had the Taco Bell thing? Because that could change people's lives.
Yes, yeah. That was one of the first episodes we did. We decided there's an app. There's an app on Android and iOS that you can download. It's the Taco Bell app. And you can order directly from there, and you can mix and match and like, okay, I'm going to add cheese. I'm going to add this kind of sauce. I'm going to take this off. And we found ways to basically hack the Taco Bell menu to get all sorts of stuff way cheaper than you can at the store.
Wow. I haven't had Taco Bell in probably 2 years, but this may change that.
I have it about twice a week. And
especially December. In December, like all bets are off with my diet. So it's like I can't keep up. So by mid-December I'm just like, fuck it. I'll pick this up in January.
My doctor, when I told him that, he was horrified. I mean, the look on his face, it was like I just said, well, I killed a drifter in the parking lot. I think he reacted more strongly when I told him I was like, 2, maybe 3 times a week. Yeah, it's a regular thing.
Well, they do have that light menu, of tasteless cardboard, even more tasteless than cardboard.
I think you just
the light menu that's covered in dust, and they're like, somebody, they just look at you like, we don't. Oh, we do. And they have to like go back into a vault where they keep like the Ark of the Covenant and shit to find like the low fat stuff.
You grab your taco and you're unwrapping, and you go.
Yeah, here's your light taco, weirdo.
All right, awesome. Well, we're going to be doing our What's on Your Doorstep segment here very soon.
We didn't even announce this as a fucking Christmas episode.
But yeah, well, that's what I'm doing right now.
What the fuck is wrong with us?
We're going to lay out the rest of the
Jesus
of the
Christ,
time here.
we're fucked up.
Josh Overshaw is going to be back with some news. This Arrow is going to be dropping a shit ton of announcements here soon, so he'll be running through those. And then we'll be talking about our favorite Christmas horror movie moments, followed by our top movies of 2016. And this is covering, I think, all genres, right, Brad?
Absolutely.
All right. So those of you
all
who,
genres?
yeah.
Wait,
I
did
guess.
I not say that?
Oh no, I picked my top horror films.
That's fine.
It's all good. It's all good.
If there's other stuff
Basically,
that pops in there, then, obviously if you felt strongly about something else and it's on your mind, you can bump it. But yeah,
Okay.
it's all genre. Sorry, I should have clarified that.
The problem is I haven't seen enough horror movies that came out this year to even do a
We've
top
always
three.
done all genres.
but yeah.
Even on our top 10.
Yeah,
So
it's all good.
Sean, don't make an excuse.
What's this
Sean.
podcast called again? ScreamCast?
Yeah, so
Okay,
those
cool.
of you who are like, oh, I don't listen to podcasts that don't talk all horror, you can just fuck off for this episode, okay?
We haven't talked about all horror for the longest time.
I know.
All the hardcore horror guys have moved
That
on.
all changed when we had Brian Sauer on the show, because every time we'd mention something, he would drop some knowledge on some 1950s drama with and it would be like, cool.
Now, I think we cover genre, you know what I mean? We lean towards horror, but
I'll tell you what,
more.
I guarantee that all of, mostly probably 9 out of 10 are genre films.
Well, yeah, most of mine are too, so.
Right. So anyways, all right. So what are we doing first on this bitch?
Let's find out what's on our doorstep.
Holy cow, I almost forgot.
We'll get the door.
Oh, fuck. All right. Go ahead, Sean.
I'll go. Well, we didn't do it last time, but I actually watched some movies. I've been trying to play catch up. Like I said last week, I've redone my podcast room, so I actually have a full-on shelf for for my to-watch pile. Is basically a Blu-ray shelf. How many shelves? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 rows of Blu-rays on my to-watch pile. So I've been trying to blow through these and watch them and try to get some organization. So on Thanksgiving morning, I actually finally watched Arrow's Blu-ray of Blood Rage. And we talked about this last year.
Yeah.
And I finally watched it. I watched the what was it? The cut where they combined the TV and the theatrical.
The Night at Shadow Woods or whatever.
No,
it's
Night at
called.
Shadow Woods is the theatrical version. I guess there's the one. There's I can't keep up. I stood here. I sat here looking at the case like for the 10 minutes trying to figure out which one I was going to watch. And I guess there's the unrated cut, the director's cut or whatever. Then there's the theatrical cut, and then there's the composite cut.
Who would think that we live in a world that has fucking 4 versions of Blood Rage on Blu-ray?
It's ridiculous. Anyway,
Jesus.
a ton of fun. This is going to become a Thanksgiving tradition, I think. We talked about it a ton last year on our one of our Arrow episodes, so track that episode down. I'll put it in the show notes. But love it. It's definitely not cranberry sauce, and there's a lot of fun to be had on it. I can't believe this thing's on Blu-ray. It's ridiculous.
I have never
what a world.
seen this one. It's
really great.
Yeah, it's on my list, definitely.
It's basically a slasher, involving twins, and it's just fantastic.
And the mom eating
the mom sitting
food on the floor
that night with the refrigerator doors open and just surrounded by Tupperware, just eating food, is a place that I've been in myself. So there's a lot I can relate to in this film, except for the murderer, the mass murderer. But yeah, there's some fantastic gore gags in this flick. It's cheesy as hell.
It's funny
It's
as
a
shit.
lot of fun. Oh my gosh. So, The next flick I watched, this is a Kino Lorber release, I believe is with Scorpion. It's called The Rift, and this came out the same year as The Abyss and Leviathan and Deep Star 6. This is one of the 4 underwater movies that came out that year. What year?
That's the one I didn't see.
1989. It's the one I didn't see either.
Wait,
so.
is that Endless Descent?
I believe it was also called Endless Descent.
God, that movie blows.
It's not a good flick. It's the lesser.
No, it's not.
It's the lesser of the 4.
That movie's boring as fucking. Oh, Jesus, yeah. Endless Descent. Yeah,
R. Lee Emery is in it, and he's reined in. Like, he tries to, bring the crazy a little bit, but he's a little bit reined in. And they have one scene where one of the guys says, like, well, it's like you're telling me to suck a golf ball through a garden hose. And I was like, wow, it's weird. They just referenced Full Metal Jacket with R. Lee Emery standing right there. It's a really odd choice. But the one thing I liked about it, I mean, it's a bad shit film. There are some stretches of some boredom, but the creature effects, if you're a fan of creature effects near the end, the back half of the film, they're a lot of fun. They find a bunch of like round pods full of these, it's basically an Alien ripoff, right? It's like Alien and Aliens underwater, like most of these. But they're like, these like round, like they look like fish eggs filled with these little embryos. And like some of the effects are pretty dang cool. But, I dug it for what it was, but I like crap B movies.
If you go on my Instagram and you go back like 2 years, there's like videos of me making fun of this movie. Yeah. There's like 4 or 5 videos that I make, like recording the dumb shit that they say. And I do remember there's this one where like you see one of the aliens and I look at the camera and go, is that jelly? And I crack myself up. But that movie fucking sucks so much.
That's the thing, like, there's movies that I enjoy that I know are bad, but I enjoy them. This was one of them. Like, it's not a good film, but for me, there's a lot I could appreciate and have fun with and laugh at. So
well, don't say it's bad. If you enjoy a movie.
No, I enjoy a movie, like,
I don't believe in that so bad it's good. I don't believe in that. Either you enjoy it or you don't.
No. I mean, you could still acknowledge that it's a bad film and still enjoy it.
That's exactly what I do.
Not so bad it's good, though. Not where you're laughing at it. I mean, I've got plenty of those where it's like, it's not, I know it's a bad film, but I still just enjoy it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's exactly where I am. Even with Independence Day Resurgence, I don't give a shit.
Shut the fuck up, Sean. God damn it.
I was with you on this whole defending bad movies thing until...
Look, I watched it with my kids. It was a fun family time. I can't shit on that.
Was it? You fucking warped their minds. They're probably going to kill you at night.
All right, next up, this is coming out, I believe Scream Factory's going to release this, and then they're going to fuck up the audio, and then they're going to release like another disc, like, a replacement disc. But I watched Jamie Lee Curtis in Virus. I have a German release of Virus, which gets a little weird because like at the beginning it's like a Russian sub at the beginning, and they're all talking in Russian, so like German subtitles pop up. So I'm like, I don't know what the hell they're saying, but for subtitles. No. But who cares? Like, you get the idea, right? Something happens and they all die, right? But I mean, it looked pretty good. Like, I don't know if Scream Factory, I don't think they're doing a collector's version of it, so they'll add some special features to it, I believe. But I mean, not one of the best 90s, kind of sci-fi-ish things, but there's enough there.
I got a soft spot for that movie.
Well, no, there's enough there that I really dig, especially like did Stan Winston, was he involved in this?
Yeah, I believe so.
He had to have been, because once, the effects near the end are fantastic.
I don't know, man. There's a few 90s movies that are based on ships that I really like.
Yeah.
Like fucking Ghost Ship. I like this. I like
Ghost Ship. Oh, go to hell.
I like Deep Rising.
Deep Rising's great.
But anyways.
No, I remember being like super excited about Virus before it came out. And I don't know if you guys remember, I had to look it up to confirm this because I thought it was crazy, but there was like a huge like merchandising blitz for this movie.
They marketed this thing hardcore.
There were like toys.
Really?
graphic novels, a video game on the PlayStation.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I remember seeing some of the action figures. They're probably like collector's item right now because who the hell would have bought them?
This movie
would've.
bombed
God damn
hard.
it.
It bombed hard. I remember, and I believe I rented the VHS when it came out, and we were all excited, and
I saw that shit in theaters, bitch.
yeah. And at the time,
I still have my movie
I
ticket.
didn't appreciate it, but I appreciate it for what it is. It's the same thing. Like, these movies are all, like, to me, like, like, I can acknowledge that they're not the greatest things in the world, but there's enough in them for me to latch onto. And Jamie Lee Curtis, like, I pretty much, she's always on point whenever she's in a flick. And Donald Sutherland's in this too, right?
These
And
movies are
freaking
they're
William
only
Baldwin, man.
like $10 for these toys.
Yeah, they're cheap, right?
Yeah.
Very nice.
God.
All right, moving along. I finally watched the Scream Factory release of Ghost Town, about a sheriff that tries to find a missing girl and somehow gets caught into this town, a ghost town, with real ghosts.
It's not the one with Ricky Gervais from like
Not the one with Ricky Gervais. Is he in a movie called Ghost Town?
he does, yeah. Yeah, from 2008.
Nice. Yeah, this one's a bit slow.
Yeah, no
Bit
shit. Didn't you hear me
boring.
snoring?
I like the idea of it is better than the execution. So, and it's bare bones. So I'll be listing this on eBay very soon. If you want to buy it from me, just hit me up on Twitter and
Oh my
we'll
god.
work out a deal.
Now we're selling stuff.
So I'm trying
The
to find
poster's
this.
great.
Is this the one with the skeleton in boots
Yeah.
from the 80s?
Yeah.
Oh man, I think I saw that like when it originally hit VHS.
Oh, no way. Like, the idea is fantastic. Like, it looks great. And, the villain guy is kind of fun, but it's basically, it just turns into a Western, with a little bit of a supernatural element, but not a good Western. You know what I mean? Like, they just didn't have the budget, to really open things up. And, it's all stuck in that town. But I mean, the idea, there's a few cool little, like, gags in it, but, yeah, it's pretty boring.
It was one of those things where I had it on VHS and I thought that I liked it, and then I upgraded to the Blu-ray, and then I was like, fuck.
Well, it's bare bones too. Like, this is like straight up bare bones, and I'm kicking myself.
That's fine.
I probably
It's fine.
spent $20 on this thing.
I have this rule that I try to stick to that if there's something that like a movie or a cartoon or a video game or something that when it was a kid I thought it was dumb, then I just stay away from it
Because it's probably even
if it-
dumber.
if it didn't entertain me when I was like 9 years old, then no.
I don't know, man. Like, I have a thing with that. Like, have you watched Three Ninjas lately? Like,
I've
that
never
movie
seen
sucks.
Three Ninjas.
Shut up, Brad. Shut up, shut up, shut up.
Tum
Oh, but
Tum,
Space
he ain't
Jam, bro.
anything.
Space
Oh,
Jam,
God.
bro.
Fuck Space Jam.
Exactly. All right. And finally, I've had this Blu-ray for a while. It's a Code Red release. It's called White Ghost.
Oh, dude,
And
White
it's
Ghost is fucking great.
By the star of, what was that TV show he was in? Last American Hero or something like that?
Yeah.
Oh. Greatest American
William
Hero.
Cat.
William
Greatest
Cat.
American Hero. William Cat.
He was in House.
Yeah. This movie is fucking awesome. I wish it was released by a better company, was more accessible. Cause this thing's a lot of fun. This guy, he's like a Vietnam, he was a soldier of Vietnam and for some reason stays in Vietnam. So he's been living in the wilds of Vietnam for like 15 years. The government, for some reason, I can't remember, decides they need to bring him back because he may have some intel. They hire like a team of like assassins to go in and rescue him, but then they end up fighting him. And, it's a lot of fun. He's great. The action's fantastic. This is the uncut version, so there's some extra gore that I can totally tell, like, was, plugged back in. But, just like, not just it was jarring or anything, but it was like just gratuitous for gratuitous sake, and it's fucking awesome. So, a lot of fun, good action flick for those of you out there. If, the Code Red store is ever open, or if they ever have this listed on Screen Archives or whatever,
well, they open in Ronin.
grab it. They opened, oh, that's right,
Yeah.
Yeah, they opened
and free shipping, so they don't. Bill doesn't charge $10 for a Blu-ray now.
That's good. There's not much on that store yet, so
they'll get there.
Yeah.
Well, because Code Red Big Cartel's down all the time.
Yeah,
but you can get House on the Edge of the Park on there, which is great. So,
but if you ever see White Ghost anywhere, grab it. Don't spend a shit ton of money on like eBay. Don't get scalped for it. But like all these Code Reds are always way more expensive than they should be on eBay. But this is a lot of fun. This is one of the movies that I can highly recommend from Code Red. But it looks great too. So
yeah, that's another one where I remember seeing the cover in the video store, like way back in the day, and just thinking, I'll stick with what was it?
Probably Three Ninjas, like an idiot.
No, what was the? Missing in Action.
Yeah. I mean, this is a better movie than like Missing in Action. It's better than Rambo 3 for sure. This is a better Rambo sequel than Rambo 3. Maybe even Rambo 2. I could maybe even go there. I could maybe even go there.
Dude, Rambo 2 is better than Rambo.
Let's not say anything. Blood. Let's not say anything we regret. Okay?
I know. But listen back to this and be like, fuck, what was I thinking?
I know you're stressed right now. You're at the end of your rope.
Do you really think that Rambo 2 is better than First Blood?
No. First Blood's the best. First Blood's great. Rambo 2's fun. Rambo 3 is shit.
All right.
It's a bad movie.
It's
a bad movie. Except where he cauterizes the wound, because that is metal.
I don't know, man. I kind of prefer Rambo 2 over First Blood.
Okay. I can't really indict you for that.
No.
I don't agree, but
Rambo 2 is entertaining as hell.
Yeah.
I mean, he shoots a dude with an exploding arrow.
I mean, a lot of people don't really have an appreciation for what a landmark that movie was. I mean, that was one of those punctuated moments in the evolution of action films, right up there with Die Hard. Yet Die Hard gets so much more respect because Die Hard's amazing, right?
Oh, yeah.
But that was one of those where you watch it kind of like The Matrix, where it's just like, oh, everything is different now.
Oh, no, I agree. But honestly, dude, if they would have kept that ending where he kills himself.
Oh, in the First Blood?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
That would have been fucking epic.
Yeah, but then we wouldn't have Rambo 2.
Yeah, but I would be, here's the thing. It's one of those things where I would have been okay with it. For example, Halloween 1 and 2. I like Halloween 2.
Yeah.
Better than probably Halloween most of the time. I flip-flop every once in a while. I still think they're both great films. But if they never would have made Halloween 2 because, Michael Myers actually does get shot and falls out the window, I would have been okay with that.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
It's one of those things. I would have been okay if fucking Michael Myers should have died the way he should have after he gets shot in the face twice and burned alive in Halloween 2. Yeah, I would have been okay with that. But I'm glad he's back.
Fantastic. All right, that's a couple more things real quick. My daughter has been on this journey through horror. I'm introducing her to horror flicks, and so last weekend she was like, "Dad, I want to watch a horror movie." So I was like, "All right, cool." So I gave her a choice. I had The Gate or I had Joe Dante's The Hole, and
cool.
She was kind of flip-flopping between the two. I figured, that she was she'd heard me talking about The Hole with somebody, and she's like, well, let's just watch The Hole. And I was like, all right, cool, watch The Hole. So we sat down and we watched it, and she loved it. She, of course, that little creepy clown jester thing was the scariest thing for her. But it's fun, navigating through horror with her. So, this weekend, her and I are probably going to watch The Gate. Since it's I was going to try to do a double feature, because they'd make a great double feature. But,
they're very much cut from the same cloth.
Oh yeah, totally. So we're going to watch The Gate, and then I'm going to be going through, all my movies and moving all the kid-centric, stuff that she can watch, to a certain area, and her and I are going to kind of move through and, get braver and braver each week. So she really wants to see the Conjuring movies, and I'm like, well, we got to work our way up to Conjuring.
Yeah, but, walk before you run.
Yeah,
sweetheart.
Yeah, and then we also watched Beetlejuice, and that was a hit with her as well. So, fun having kids and when they get to the age, like she's 11. So it's been fun kind of navigating through this stuff with her.
Come on, it's time for Chainsaw.
I know, right?
Do it.
We'll get there.
Throw her into the deep end. That's the only way they'll learn.
All right, Brad, what you got, man?
Okay, I'll go. I don't actually have much. So I watched
20 as opposed to 50.
No. So let me see here. I watched Joe Sarno's second film called Sin You Sinners. This was released by Film Movement on Blu-ray, which this has released on DVD back in the day, but there's only one surviving print of this film, and it's beat to shit. But Film Movement did their best in order to, do a transfer and release this on Blu-ray, which it looks fantastic. It is beat up and cut up, and it's really bad, but it's the best this film will ever look. It's definitely Sarno's weakest film out of everything he's done. If you're familiar with him, he's big on sexploitation, exploitation, making things getting a little weird with you. And this is one of these films where he likes to get really weird because honestly, the film it was kind of a disaster because he came in as kind of to save the project because the director left. So the director wanted to kind of do more something like straightforward, like with kind of witches and shit like that. And then Sarno came in and was like, well, I'm going to make this kind of a titty flick. And he has...
Can't argue with that.
Yeah, well, it's different because he was using older women rather than, some young 20-year-old lady. He was using ladies in their 40s and 50s.
Yeah.
Which was...
can't knock experience.
No, not at all. And, they're pretty ladies. But it was just kind of different from when this movie came out in, 1960s, early 60s. Having that, and it was more underground than anything. It wasn't anything mainstream, but definitely an interesting film. I'm not going to say if it's good or bad because it's just ludicrous, the plot and the things that happen. But Film Movement released it as pairing with his other film called Vampire's Ecstasy, which I have not watched yet. But Sin You Sinners is worth it enough because he's a great director, and I think he's on par with like Jack Hill and stuff like that. He just doesn't get the notoriety he deserves. Which, if you were quick on pull the trigger on All the Sins of Sodom from Vinegar Syndrome, which was limited to 1,000, that's one of his films as well. He's got a big catalog, so just dive in, pick something, and I'm
going to start with 21 Hump Street. Actual title.
I have not seen 21 Hump Street, but he's a bizarre dude, and a lot of people really channeled him when they were making their films, like Herschel Gordon Lewis and Andy Sedaris, Ted Mickles. All those guys were Sarno fans, and they took elements of what Sarno did and made their own. And you can kind of see it.
He has 122 credits to his name.
He was very active. So, and then I got around to, oh boy. I got around to watching Night of the Living Deb.
Okay.
Which I thought might be funny. Janice loved it. She was a huge fan. But it is about a woman who ends up with a one-night stand with, a guy. Obviously, she's falling around the bar. They sleep together, of course. They wake up, and there's a zombie apocalypse going on. And they deal with their kind of relationship as a one-night stand where she wants to, continue to hang out. he has kind of another life on this side of being engaged and shit like that. And while they're trying to survive the zombie apocalypse, it's supposed to be funny. Ray Wise is in it. He's pretty entertaining in it. But it's whatever, you know.
Ray Wise had some bills to pay, apparently. Some debts to pay off.
Well, he has a lot of debt to pay off because he's in a lot of movies like that.
He just shows up in the weirdest places.
And then I watched, dusted off my VHS because Willow has never seen Prehysteria. And Prehysteria is one of those lost films that, like, I thought everybody knows it and likes it, but you'd be surprised at how many people have not seen Prehysteria. They know of it once.
I've not seen it.
Okay.
I haven't seen it either.
See, this is weird because I thought Prehysteria was one of those films that was extremely popular near, around the Homeward Bound time. And, Beethoven. It's just one of those kids' movies that there was plenty of copies on the shelf, and I thought everybody had seen it.
Animatronic robot, or not robots, dinosaurs or something?
Yeah.
So I'm a little older than you guys, and when this was released, I was about to graduate high school, so I took one look at this and just said, "Fuck off." Fuck off.
How old are you?
You need, number one, you need to relax.
I know. This was me when I was angry, 17-year-old listening.
But were you watching horror films though at that time?
Oh yeah. Totally.
Right. Well, Charles Band was behind this.
Oh God, then I would have said "fuck off" twice.
Oh, Charles Band was not the person he was back when you were 17.
I think I've seen this. I'm looking at the VHS cover right now. 93. So I was a few years from graduating high school.
Oh, okay.
I must have rented this maybe, but the cover, yeah, I totally.
All right, I was 9 and I fucking loved it.
So okay, all right. I was 17.
So Last Action Hero kid ends up with 5 dinosaur eggs, and they hatch, and they're actually all real dinosaurs. It's just that with how they were preserved, they don't grow. So there's a T-Rex, there's a pterodactyl, Triceratops, Stegosaurus, and a Brontosaurus. And they're all named after singers. Elvis, Madonna, yeah.
Okay.
So anyways, it's just a fun, cute little movie where he tries to protect his dinosaurs. Because the guy that, actually found them, wants to, obviously show them off in a museum and make, millions of dollars off of them. Hey,
is it on the shelf, right next to Mac and Me?
It's very, very close.
Speaking of Mac and Me, I made a fake Shout Factory collector's edition Blu-ray picture, and I sent it. I just blasted it out on the internet, and our good friend Zach thought it was real.
Hey,
he actually tweeted at Shout Factory, and he immediately responded like, "No, who posted that?"
People love Mac and Me.
It's ridiculous.
But if you haven't seen Prehysteria, Charles Band was behind it. It's just a goofy little kids movie that's better than Three Ninjas.
There's a trilogy of this.
Yes, there is. One takes place at a golf course.
Wait,
it's really good.
Trilogy of
Prehysteria.
Prehysteria.
Are you serious?
They're all prequels to Chronosaur.
Carnosaur.
So, anyways.
Wait. Chronosaur or Carnosaur?
Carnosaur.
Okay, because Chronosaur, I'm like, so there's a movie about a time-traveling T-Rex?
Chronosaur would be amazing.
Oh, I said Chronosaur. Sorry, Carnosaur.
Write that shit down. We're making a movie.
I'm in. I'm all the way in.
So, anyways.
Chronosaur.
Watch it. Watch Prehysteria, Jason, and let me know what you think.
No.
And
right now, I'm not going to do that.
And that's pretty much it. I mean, you already talked about Waxworks, and that 720p looks really good.
Shut up.
Just saying.
I think it looks all right. I don't understand. I don't know what you're saying.
For $27.99, paying for a Blu-ray when you can easily rent it on Vudu or
But
buy
it's a double feature. And there's some good special features.
I don't really give a fuck.
Is it a double feature with Waxwork 2?
Yeah.
You got robbed!
Well, here's the thing, is that I'm a big fan of the movie, and of course I always support, physical media. But it really pisses me off when these companies are obviously taking advantage of the people. I know it's a business.
Well,
but man, come on. Like, even $27.99, you could say double feature, but the other fucking Lionsgate titles are $27.99.
Yeah, it looks like the newest ones,
these are higher than Code Red, for Christ's sake.
Parents and, the frickin', what's that one?
Lair of the White Worm.
Lair of the White Worm. They're listed right now, I believe, at $24.99 on Amazon, maybe down to $22.99.
What if you just buy them off Grindhouse Video?
I'm just saying, I don't know how much Grindhouse Video is going to sell them. I'm just saying, I'm noticing, because they're dropping in price.
Fuck Amazon.
So hopefully the distributors they're getting better,
We're going to put a
margins.
ban on mentioning Amazon on the show.
I'm just saying because I saw it the other day listed at that price, and that's the lowest I've ever seen any of these Vestron video ones. Because even on Amazon, they've been like $30 to $35.
What did I just say?
Grindhouse Video has been listing them at about $27.99, which
there you go.
I'm fine with paying because I'm supporting Mike. So fuck off.
Yeah.
But
Waxworks,
hopefully these all start dropping in price and get a little more reasonable for sure. I agree. I mean, they're expensive. $30 for a Blu-ray is, it's tough.
It's insane.
Yeah, that's.
And I understand there's a double feature, but it's just when I just have a problem with that. I want to support physical media and I want to support Lionsgate for doing this because we're obviously going to get a lot of great titles. But I think this is going to be one of these things that you can easily just go on Vudu and look at all the HD movies that are on there, and that's exactly what you are going to get on Blu-ray. Or you just listen to our old segments, Stream Screams, because
right.
What is it? 5 out of the 7 titles they're releasing, we've actually talked about on the show.
Yeah, but with these though, I'm actually interested in the special features if they have any. I know
special features can go fuck off.
I thought the Waxwork one was really fun. I loved diving into that.
I will watch them, and maybe that will be the redeeming thing for me. But I just want the movie to look good.
It
does. The thing is, I own it on Vudu.
If you put David Warner in something, it's got my attention.
Yeah, like Teenage Mutant Turtles 2.
Watched it in the theater. I was there.
I was too. I'm not gonna lie.
Wasn't good.
But that's pretty much it.
Nice. All right. Let's jump into news with Josh Obershaw, and we'll come back and talk about our favorite Christmas horror movie moments and talk about our best of 2016. All right, Josh Obershaw joins us now with some news. It's been a little bit because we skipped last week. So, Josh, welcome back.
Back again. How's it going?
Good.
Good. All right. Shit. Where do we start?
I know, huh?
All right. Why don't we start with the with some Arrow news, because this past Friday, Arrow just announced their March titles. And, well, first of all, they've got, was it the Dead or Alive trilogy from,
Takashi Miike?
Yeah, Takashi Miike. He's got, the Dead or Alive trilogy coming from Arrow, and, there's a high-definition digital transfers for all 3 films, original uncompressed stereo audio. There's a new interview with Riki Takeuchi, a new interview with actor Sho Aikawa, a new interview with producer and screenwriter Toshiki Kimura, a new audio commentary for Dead or Alive by Miyake biographer Tom Mez, some archive interviews with the cast and crew, some making of featurettes, and this one's going to be coming out in the U.S. on March 14th and in the U.K. on March 13th.
Awesome.
And the U.K. is also getting pieces. They're getting their own Blu-ray of Pieces. It's a brand new 4K transfer. You got two versions of the feature, the U.S. theatrical version and the uncensored director's cut, presented in Spanish with the original score. You've got original English and Spanish mono audio, and you got an alternate rescore by Umberto. There's no last name. This is so funny. Got a brand new audio commentary with the Hysteria Continues. Is exactly what you think it is. It's a brand new featurette. And a brand new interview with art director Gonzalo. Pieces of One, a career-spanning interview with director Juan Piquer Simon. It looks like it's all the bonus features that's going to be on the Grindhouse Blu-ray that was released here in the States.
Oh, okay. But
And
no
it
puzzle. So
Well, the thing is, though, Arrow's putting out a very, very special deluxe edition that does include the puzzle.
oh man.
And a 12-inch vinyl of the soundtrack.
Oh. Wow. Nice.
But here's the thing, though. Arrow is also putting out the entire House collection in March.
Mm-hmm.
But that's only for the UK.
Yeah, it's House 1, House 2, then House 3, which was released by Scream Factory under what was the name of it? We covered
The Horror Show.
Yeah, the Horror Show. And then there's the made-for-TV House 4, which I don't know, which hasn't come to Blu-ray at all, as far as I know, here in the States, which is odd that they left it out of the U.S. version, because the U.S. version's only going to be House 1 and House 2. So this, if you've ever been waiting to get a region-free player, I would say like now's the time to get it if you want this release, because it's almost like making the U.S. release mute, because it's like, I don't know, like the UK set is so cool, like with all of them in one package. I don't know. I mean, I guess.
Do you remember when we were talking about the initial announcement that they were going to be releasing the House collection?
Yeah.
And I brought up the point that, okay, House 3 was released in the U.S. as the Horror Show, and Scream Factory already had that release.
Mm-hmm.
So I was not clear on how that was going to go about, but I guess now we have our answer.
Well, I would imagine this means that there must be a House 4 release coming from somebody. Somebody holds the rights in the U.S. for that.
That is true.
I'll bet you it's Coda Red.
Oh my God.
That would be perfect if they're the ones holding the rights to House 4. Oh my gosh. We'll see what happens. But in the meantime, man, I've been telling everybody, like, just go in on the UK set, hands down. I mean, unless you're not a fan of the others. If you're not a fan of House 4, like, but I mean, I've never seen House 4, who knows? But it's just a fun set to have all 4 of these crazy, like, I never even knew, like, I only thought there was House 1 and House 2. I never thought of the other connections until the Horror Show came out, and then I never even thought about House 4. I never even really, I guess, realized there was another one. So, I don't know. For me, I'm going all in on the deluxe, for sure.
Well, this was another franchise that I never got past number 2, so I was always curious about number 3 and number 4. And when I heard that Arrow was going to be putting out the entire collection, I was like, okay, this is a chance for me to watch the whole entire series. But it looks like we're not going to get that in the U.S., so this is a great way for people who are sort of on the fence about getting a region-free region free player, this would be a good time to do that.
Yep. And if you're, and I get a lot of people on social media and stuff asking me where I got mine. Like, if you ever want to research region free players, like the best place is 220electronics.com. It's 220-electronics.com. And there's a bunch of info on there, and you have to realize that there's an extra surcharge to make the Blu-ray portion, I guess, region free, because the prices are a little bit misleading. But there's like an 800 number, or you can call them directly in order. And what I did was I just called them up on like a Saturday morning, I think. And I was just like, hey, I want a region free Blu-ray player. Here's what I got. Here's what I'm looking for. I don't want anything too crazy. I want the best player, biggest bang for my buck. And they recommended me like just a Sony, the one that has wireless. You can set it up wireless internet, and it came with some, preloaded with like Netflix and all that stuff. And it was, I think it was like $130. I mean, Blu-ray players like are so cheap now, but you're basically paying for them to mod the thing, basically the labor, right?
Pretty much.
But he gave me a price lower than what was on the website. So if you have the time, if you're cool with just calling them up, you may get a better deal out of it, and all the way around. And they're just super knowledgeable. Like, if you don't know where to start, like the guy I talked to was like very cool. So I would say go that route, 220 Electronics.
Sounds good. But also, the Arrow's also going to be putting out a. You remember that box set, Death Walks in High Heels and Death Walks at Midnight? Well, they're going to be.
I'm looking at it right now.
Oh, okay. Well, they're going to be putting out each of those movies individually in March as well, so you can get those movies individually. And the only thing that's going to be missing is the 60-page booklet. Other than that, it's pretty much the same special features for that.
They do that with most of their box sets. I feel like if they sold well enough, you can always guarantee on a standalone.
Very, very true. I just hope they don't do that with the American Horror Project, because I feel like that would defeat the purpose of calling it the American Horror Project if you're not going to highlight those particular films.
I think they would have by now.
Probably.
But yeah. That's a fun discovery set. I love it.
Totally. Okay, coming up next, we've got another one from Severin. This one's called The Survivor. And the synopsis for this is, when a 747 crashed in the Sydney suburb, a still spectacular sequence that helped make this the most expensive Australian film of its time, the inferno kills everyone on board except the pilot, who emerges from the wreckage miraculously unscathed. But as a local psychic begins to communicate the spirits of the doomed passengers, it will unlock a nightmare of madness, murder, and supernatural horror.
Nice. That's a synopsis.
Totally. This one is actually coming out pretty soon in 2017. This one's coming out on January 10th from Severin, and it's a 2K restoration. Not Quite Hollywood extended interviews with producer Anthony Giannani,
sure,
and cinematographer John Sale. Let's see, the legacy of James Herbert. Robert Powell on James Herbert. It's a archive TV special on location featuring interviews with stars Joseph Cotton and Peter Stummer. Archive TV interview with David Hemmings, an archive TV interview with David Hemmings and Robert Powell, and a TV spot and a trailer reel. Looks like this is going to be another good one from Severin.
That looks fun.
I've never heard of this movie, so I'm totally intrigued.
Yeah. What I like about Severin is they keep their prices like pretty decent, because a lot of the times they're kind of titles you haven't really heard of that much and you want to discover, and they're not, it doesn't cost you an arm and a leg to take a chance on it.
That's true. I mean, Dr. Butcher MD and Burial Ground are actually pretty cheap.
Yeah.
Next up, what we got is one from 88 Films. This is one we told you about. It's called Enigma. This is a Lucio Fulci film. This one's coming out on March 27th, and it's a new 2K restoration with an uncompressed Italian soundtrack with newly translated subtitles, an interview with Lara Lombarda, and something called Lucio Fulci, a retrospective.
Nice.
I'm not sure if it's just a featurette or this is like a full-length thing, but oh well.
Who's
we'll
releasing
take what
this?
we can get. 88 Films.
Oh, okay.
So it's going to be regional lock, so just a warning.
Yeah, their Italian collection's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it is. Especially with those Italian sequels in name only,
Yeah.
like Alien 2.
Yes. I gotta get that still. Fantastic. I hear it's awful, but I can't wait to watch it.
I hear it's awful too, but I saw the trailer. I'm like, okay, I'm down for that one. Okay, we got a couple of updates from, who is it? Scorpion Releasing. Yes, this is one that I wrote about. When was it? Like earlier this year. This may have been about May of this year. They're going to be putting out a Blu-ray of Don't Go in the House. This is one that's been pushed back for a while now. And apparently it's coming out in January. We don't have an exact release date, but we do have the special features for that. It's a new HD scan of the original camera negative. We've got a new interview with actor Robert Osht. A new featurette, Don't Go in the House, a tour of the Strass Mansion. A new featurette, Ghost Hunting, the Strauss Mansion with Greg Caggiano. An audio commentary with star Dan Grimaldi, an interview with Dan Grimaldi, a theatrical trailer, and an alternate title card. So that is Don't Go in the House. But we also have some news about Silent Scream. They're going to be putting that on Blu-ray next year at some point. We don't have an exact release date for that. But there's a new 2K scan of the original Interpositive, a reversible artwork, new audio interview with star Barbara Steele, audio commentary with writers Ken and Jim Wheat and star Rebecca Balding, audio interview with director Danny Harris, on-camera interview with Rebecca Balding and Ken and Jim Wheat, the original theatrical trailer, 5.1 surround, and the first 200 copies of this will include a slipcover featuring custom artwork by artist Nathan Thomas Milner.
Nice.
So when we get an exact release date for this, we'll let you know. But these two releases are really, really weird because these have been in the making for quite a while, but we've never got an exact release date for either of these.
Well, it looks like Don't Go in the House is up on their new store, roninflix.com, for order now.
Oh.
So they must have just, I believe they just finally released it without really letting us know. It's on that site with Slaughterhouse Rock, Happy Hell Night, and Mind Ripper, The Hills Have Eyes 3.
So that's where you can find all the Code Red new releases.
Yeah,
then.
Anything new that eventually will come out from here on out will show up on roninflix.com. And free shipping. So, I mean, I'd rather, hopefully all the big cartel crap all heads over here, you know what I mean? Because it looks like Walt from Scorpion may be kind of helping, Bill from Code Red. Like, either he's taking over a little bit or getting things more organized because they're slowly starting to get a little more organization. So,
That sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, next up is Shout Factory. I got a couple of little tidbits for that company. Let's start with Scream Factory. They have a release date for What's the Matter with Helen, and that's going to be coming out on March 28th. Now, there's no other details on that one. But Firestarter, there's some new artwork with that. We have a release date of March 14th, and it is going to be a 2K restoration. And
that just came out on Blu-ray from like Universal or something. I'm wondering how different it's going to look.
I'm not sure. I'm just waiting for the bonus features to come out for this one, because this is one that I am really, really excited about. And okay, the new artwork is okay, but I'm really, really hoping that the new bonus features will be spectacular.
Yeah, I'm sure they will.
I'm hoping they get an interview with Drew Barrymore, because, all right, full disclosure, Drew Barrymore is my biggest celebrity crush. She has been my biggest celebrity crush since I was 8 years old, and it is because of this movie right here.
Nice.
Next up from Scream Factory, RoboCop 2 and 3 are getting collector's editions. And they are both coming out on March 21st. And
no
I know
comment.
you have... Oh, really?
They better have some damn good special features, especially 3. Like, I mean, the special features will literally save the third release. Like, if they get an amazing interview with Decker, right?
Fred Decker?
Fred Decker, right? If
Yeah.
you get an amazing interview with him and a documentary on what went wrong, like, all would be forgiven. RoboCop 2 is badass, and
Yes.
I'll welcome any special features on that. I already own it, but RoboCop 2 gets a pass. But RoboCop 3 as a collector's edition, I'm like, whoa, Scream Factory, let's take it down a notch. Let's settle down. That should have been a bonus feature on the RoboCop 2 disc.
Oh, burn.
It should have, man. It's awful. It's an awful film.
It is an awful movie, but if I could get an interview with Robert John Burke, who took over for God, what's his name now? Who took over for Peter Weller as RoboCop? Yeah, and if they can get an interview with Frank Miller, who was supposed to.
Oh, that's right.
Supposedly he wrote a draft for RoboCop 2, and then Orion just said, "Nah, fuck this shit." And did the same thing for RoboCop 3. It's just like, I want to hear the stories about that. I want to hear the backstories behind both of these movies.
Yeah. Yeah, if they could pull that together, I would totally forgive all the shit that I have been given Scream Factory on this. When I first saw this announcement, like, my eyes rolled so hard. But they can save this. They have a chance. They have a chance to save it.
They do.
Kind of like the electors have a chance to save us from Donald fucking Trump.
Oh, please.
It's not that bad, actually. It's not that bad. But
no, it's not that bad.
There's a chance to save these RoboCop releases. They could be well worth the money.
I agree. Okay, and last but not least, we have we talked about this the last time I was on, and it's Vinegar Syndrome's January Blu-ray releases. We have the final list of titles and the bonus features for all of these. They had something planned for their January package, but apparently I don't remember the title, so they had to get rid of that and replace it with something else. But here is the final list of titles for their January releases. We've got Don't Answer the Phone, We've got a movie called Blue Money. I'm guessing it's porn.
I just look at the cover. Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Blood Mania and Point of Terror. That's the double feature that I talked about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Taboo 4. And what else? There was another DVD feature. Okay,
Beyond
DVD
Shame?
only. Oh, yeah, Beyond Shame, and there's a DVD only. Go for it. Which I believe is
A Place
included.
Beyond Shame.
A Place Beyond Shame, and there's one called Go For It, which I believe is on the Taboo 4 collection. But Don't Answer the Phone. Ugh. Talk about a scuzzy movie.
That era, man. I mean, what was that 70?
79.
79. Yeah, there's that time where like all those movies are just grime covered.
Yeah. Well, the thing with Don't Answer the Phone, though, where you've got movies like Maniac and Basket Case, and I guess a little bit Taxi Driver. They have that sort of like New York scuzz.
Mm-hmm.
Don't Answer the Phone has an LA scuzz.
Okay. The LA scuzz is a little more bodily fluid induced or drenched, I feel like, than New York.
I believe so, yeah. Yeah.
New
Even
York
though
is just like dirt and smog and stuff, but LA, there's that extra level of bodily fluid.
it's a little bit more sweaty scuzz.
Yeah. Exactly. It's because of the summertime. It's hotter.
Yeah, totally. With Don't Answer the Phone, we got a 4K restoration from the 35 millimeter original camera negative. We got an audio commentary with Robert Hammer, who was the writer, director, and producer of the movie. We got a director's introduction and isolated soundtrack. Excuse me. Answering the Phone. This is a video interview with oh my god, it's a video interview with actor Nicholas Worth.
Nice.
And we got a featurette called For What It's Worth. It's a career retrospective with Nicholas Worth. Oh my god.
That may be worth price of the admission right there.
I agree.
Nicholas Worth, I just tweeted about him today because I was watching Action Jackson. And
he's in that?
Yes. Like, whenever he shows up in a flick, I'm like, this guy, you know the movie's gonna be awesome. He's like one of the best henchmen bad guys ever. He's always awesome.
The first movie I remember this guy was in was Swamp Thing.
Yes.
He was Bruno. He's the guy that gets turned into the little pig midget.
Oh man, seriously, that career retrospective, I think, just sold me on this, hands down. Hands down. Because
I think I just sold myself.
There's that other character actor who's been in Die Hard. He was also in Action Jackson. Martial arts Asian dude. What's his name? He always has like the Fu Manchu.
Al Leong.
Yes.
He's in Big Trouble in Little China.
Yes. There needs to be a career retrospective on him. And I believe somebody at some point was working on some sort of documentary, I think just called Henchmen, about all these guys. And I don't know whatever happened to that thing.
I don't know what happened to that either, but I would just love a career retrospective on just Al Leong.
Oh, I know.
Because I met Al Leong, and he is fucking awesome.
Yeah. Awesome. Dude. Good stuff, man.
I know,
What
really?
a time to be alive.
I know. But that's all I got this week, Sean.
All right, Josh. Thanks, man. We'll talk to you next week.
Talk to you next week.
All right, so we're going to be talking about our best of 2016 in just a little bit. But first, we're going to talk about a little bit about our favorite Christmas horror movie moments.
Or moment.
Moment. I got one moment I'm going to talk about.
I got one moment.
Bro, what you got? No, you know, you've been talking a hell of a lot. Shut the fuck up. Jason, we got to go to Jason. What's your favorite Christmas horror movie moment?
This is going to be weird, right? But I wanted to pick something non-traditional because...
Oh my god, watch is going to be mine.
No, there is no way. There is absolutely no way. It's, you know, because you want to pick, like, everybody thinks, okay, well, he's going to go for something for Black Christmas or maybe rare exports if you want to get a little obscure. Now, this one's super obscure and not horror, really, but it's creepy. It always creeped me out. It won't creep everyone out, but... hear me out. The last Animagic, I think it was called, movie from Rankin Bass was an ABC television movie.
Did someone just get a thing in Zelda?
Yep, that's my, sorry. That was me.
Oh my god.
I'm playing Zelda.
Flashback.
Talking to you guys. Yeah, sorry. But yeah, it's called The Life and Adventures of Santa Claus.
Huh.
And it's one of those, like, stop motion, animation, like, kind of like Rudolph, you know, or, you know, the Heat Miser and the Cold Miser and all that Rankin Bass stuff from, like, the 70s, you know? But it's called The Life and Adventures of Santa Claus, and it's bizarre, right? It's based on a story written by L. Frank Baum, Wizard of Oz guy, right? And it's about like a baby Santa Claus getting found in the forest by this immortal, and he gives baby Santa to this lion to raise, and but is then adopted by this wood nymph, and so you meet all of these like forest gods and stuff like that in this council, and they're all these like creepy stop motion things. They're like goblins and demons, and there's one that's like the demon of the wind or something like that, and it's the king of the wind demons. That was what it was, and all these imps and all this stuff, and it is fucking spooky. It just real. I know it's a children's movie, and a lot of people are just gonna watch it and just go like, oh, okay, this is quaint, and you know, it was like in the 80s or something, like 85 or something like that. But you know, people would just watch it and go, oh, sure, there's nothing to this, but man, I watch it and it just creeps me out. It's like, oh, here's this kid getting raised by all of these immortals in the forest, and he's Santa Claus. That's all I got.
That sounds... I don't know. I want to kind of watch that now because I like that type of creepy shit. Or, you know, kind of that motion animation that is kind of... I don't know, more not as mainstream as like the other stuff, because I think even like, you know, like you said, the Rankin Bass stuff, like some of that stuff's really odd and like it's traditional, but if you were to watch that maybe without any music or dialogue, it's a little odd.
Yeah, or
especially like the Abominable Snowman. That's a fucking shit's weird looking.
Yeah, turn the sound off and just put on like Joy Division or something like that. Turn all the lights out. But you can get the Warner Archive Collection, Life and Adventures of Santa Claus, on a double feature with the classic Nestor, the Christmas Donkey.
Wow.
Which is not creepy. But yeah, it's a weird, it's got this like weird kind of like spooky Lord of the Rings vibe. I don't know what to make of it. It is a very singular film. It's super strange.
Well, I think you just went the most obscure as you can get because I think you outdid me.
Yeah.
What's yours?
What you got?
Mine is very bizarre, but it's not only one of my favorite Christmas moments, but it's one of my favorite moments in movie history.
Oh, whoa.
Top 10. So we're going to start off with Silent Night, Deadly Night, Part 3, Better Watch Out. Which now Ricky is played by the legendary Bill Moseley, who has this kind of glass dome thing over his head with some wires attached, where he's this
Lick my plate, dog dick.
a really good impersonation. So he's going around chasing this blind girl and her sister, and there's this boyfriend named Chris. Well, in the film, spoiler alert, Chris, quote unquote, dies. And it's like, oh no, Chris dies. So, that said, now, go back about the same year, or even the year before. I was younger at the time, but I was always into VHS tapes, as everybody knows. So VHS was always around. Well, Memorex, one of the brand tapes out there, had a commercial with this lady who's talking, and then it realized that you're watching a video of her, and then she shows it live and blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh my gosh, look how good this tape looks. It's not even live. It's me recorded. Well, the tagline for Memorex was, is it live or is it Memorex? That said, in the film, when Chris pops up and he's not dead, before he, does his thing to Bill Moseley, he says the line out of nowhere, is it live or is it Memorex? And I get a kick out of this because probably only 2 people realized what he was actually talking about. It was just a really bizarre line for them to write in when it wasn't that popular to begin with. Like, I don't know how many people would be in the theater and be like, oh shit, yeah, from that commercial. But it was just, like, I've always loved that line. I just think it's really bizarre that they said it in the movie. And being I was, have to deal with VHS, I was, obviously a fan. But it's just out of nowhere, and I love it. And it gets me every time. Makes me smile.
I just realized that I've never seen this movie because I looked it up, and I've seen the cover 100 times. Didn't even know Bill Moseley was in it. And I'm looking at the pictures because he said he's got, like, this dome on his head. And I'm like, okay, what? What?
It's super fucking weird. His, like, brain's exposed and shit.
He looks like he's about to fight the Fantastic Four. He looks like some, like, comic book 60s supervillain.
Yeah, it's weird.
Awesome.
I gotta see it.
Like, when you just don't think those movies can get any weirder, they progressively get weirder. Like, I mean, I'm not even that big of a fan of the original Silent Night, Deadly Night. And then 2 was obviously just a rehash, and we just have Ricky saying Garbage Day, which is the highlight of the film. And then you have this one. And then the 4th one, that one's just really batshit crazy. But then 5, you have the Toy Maker, which is just a fucking dolls coming up to life. It doesn't make any sense. And then Mickey Rooney is in 5, but Mickey Rooney was actually part of the big movement of trying to get the original band. Because there was all those mothers and Christians that were outraged that you were making Santa Claus a killer. And like Silent Night, Deadly Night had a lot of shit going on in the background when that film was released. And Mickey Rooney was a huge part of that.
Oh,
and
yeah.
What does that fucking bastard do? He ends up being basically the star of the 5th movie. Like, can you think of any more like, oh, fuck it.
He was already at the point that movie came out like 106. So he probably just forgot all about it. I shouldn't talk bad about him since didn't he just die?
I think so.
Yeah. Apparently he was a huge asshole, so whatever. Oh no, he died in 2014. He's been dead for...
It's been a couple years.
Yeah, we're good. Dick.
All right, Sean.
Very nice. Mine, I was looking through all the Christmas horror movies, and there's a lot that I still need to see. Like, I want to see, Saint, right?
Oh, dude. Saint is great.
I want to see,
Val Kilmer. It's a good movie.
I want to see Elves and Don't Open Till Christmas. Those are still on my need to track down and watch for Christmas.
Elves, you're not missing too much.
Yeah.
Don't Open Till Christmas
that good.
is a lot of fun.
Not that good? Damn it. Well, there is a shortage in really good Christmas horror movies, and
I don't know about that. No.
Well, I mean, there should happen more often. But,
I can at least name 30.
Well, with Krampus and happening last year, and then hopefully more come out. But not involving all Krampus. I mean,
no, there are 30 of them involving Krampus.
Yeah, I know. There's within the last 2 years, there's been 30 movies with Krampus. So it's like let's take a break from Krampus, everybody. It's and move forward. But the one thing, when I was trying to figure out what scene always sticks with me, and it's like the stupidest movie, but it's the opening scene for 2005's Santa's Sleigh. Where Santa is actually
fucking James Caan and Chris Kattan.
yeah. Where Santa's actually like a devil or a demon. He lost a bet with an angel or whatever. So he was like cursed or whatever to be Santa Claus for 1,000 years. And of course, this year, he's done. It's the 1,001st year, so he can actually be himself. So he basically just goes around and kills people. But the opening scene with Fran Dresser, Chris Kattan, James Caan. Is just, it's like you wish they would go a little more over the top.
I don't know how they got that fucking cast in the beginning of that movie.
Well, apparently,
kidding.
This was directed by a guy by David Steinman, who's only directed this movie. He worked with Brett Ratner on Rush Hour 2 and some of the Rush Hour movies, or some of the Brett Ratner flicks. And Brett Ratner helped produce this flick because he had the idea.
And then Goldberg's in it. He plays Santa, the old wrestler.
Yeah. Well, I guess David Steinman had this idea and ran it by Brett Ratner, and Brett Ratner actually was like, "That sounds pretty great. I'll produce the movie."
It's a really fucking fun movie too. I love that shit.
Yeah, it's super fun, and I don't know why David Steinman hasn't directed anything else. This is his only directorial thing. But yeah, that opening scene is just so goofy. Fran Dresser's hair catches on fire. She gets drowned in eggnog. Bill Goldberg just, as Santa Claus, bursts through the fireplace and does a flip onto the table and stabs James Caan's hands with double knives through the table. It's just, I don't know. It's just a lot of fun. It sets the tone for the movie up perfectly. And, like I said, the star power in that opening scene is incredible. It rivals the first Scream, I would say, with, the amount of star power. I mean, all of them together probably make one Drew Barrymore, but, who's counting? But it's a lot of fun. This thing, I feel like Santa's Sleigh is not mentioned enough. Maybe it is, but it definitely, it
needs to pop up a little bit more because here's the thing: is that whenever I meet anybody, they like it, that have actually seen it. They're like, "Yes, I enjoy that movie."
It's one of those that I never saw. That I would see the cover and Goldberg playing it. Nope, no,
right? No, it's an easy pass. It's an easy pass.
Totally. But it's a lot of fun, his demon reindeer that drives a sleigh. I mean, it's totally goofy, goofball, cornball fun, but it's done really well, for what it is. And it definitely gets played by me. If I try to get to it every year since I've seen it.
No, I agree with you. I'm 100% on board.
Nice. I'm glad we could agree on something, Brad.
We agree more than you think, you asshole. So, all right. Cool. Well, Merry Christmas.
All right, well, let's dive into our best of lists. And I hate doing these. Best of lists for me, I'm always they're always really hard for me to do. So, whenever I have to do them, I'm just like, oh, fuck.
All right, so
down.
Let's try, honestly, this could be 3 hours. Let's try to keep a minute for each title.
I can do that.
Because, I mean, literally, we got 30 movies that we're going to be talking about. That's 30 minutes. So,
right.
let's just run through them. We'll try to, each of us keep quiet. Maybe we could just say it's great or something like that if we haven't seen it.
I'll do like a sentence on why I dig it.
Yeah, no, yeah. I just think we need to keep it like, because I mean, seriously, this could be a long, long talk.
All right. Who wants to go first?
Jason.
All right.
I'm going first. All right.
Go.
Yeah, this, I realized that I don't really, I mean, I knew I didn't really watch as many movies as I used to because I'm always busy writing. I used to watch like a different movie, like you guys probably do, like a different movie at least every day. Right?
It slowed down for me, but you know.
Yeah, well, I'm lucky if I get like one a week. You know, and a lot of times it's older stuff that I've missed or stuff like that. So this was a tough list for me to make because I had difficulty finding 10 movies that I just thought were the best, that I really liked, that I just really enjoyed, you know. Strangely, it was actually easier for me to do a horror list because I did, but while you guys were telling me, oh, no, it's all just like genre stuff, I said, oh, okay. And I mixed it up, and I think I've come up with my 10.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So without further ado, the movie, that I think, is incredible and I never want to see it again is, Green Room. Because, Green Room, oh God.
Yeah.
it was like, I realized I was holding my breath for 90 minutes, you know? It was brutal. God, it was expertly made. It was an incredible movie. It was so tense and it was harsh. I don't know that I can sit through it again. It's a testament to how expertly it was executed.
3 times I've seen it. Love it.
Wow. Yeah. and I say that, and yet lately I've been like, well, it's on Amazon Prime. Watch it again, you know, because, God, it's just so good. After that one, it's kind of an obvious one. I'm a big comic book fan, you know, big Marvel fanboy. I really like Civil War. I just totally geeked out and lost my shit when Spider-Man shows up. Yeah, I thought it was a hell of a lot of fun. Not like the best movie, you know, but I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I thought it was great.
That movie made me almost want to quit watching any Marvel movie.
Really?
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah. But then I realized that was Doctor Strange that did that for sure.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Now, I know, I mean, I like Cargill too. And he's my buddy, but I can't deal with the Marvel movies anymore.
Really?
I'll watch Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
But I think I might be done after that.
Interesting. Well, that brings me to my next one, which is Doctor Strange. I just love, it was, yes, there weren't really any surprises in it. There were a couple of, clever things, and, the ending was good. I don't want to spoil it, but I thought this felt like a Marvel movie, which I love. I am getting kind of tired of them, just of the Marvel universe, maybe because they're just so ubiquitous. They're just always there. But I mean, I've been reading Marvel comics for, 35 years or something. And so it was amazing for me to see this, kind of, B or even C-list character brought to life. And I thought it hit a lot of emotional beats. It juggled a lot of different, notes, and, didn't ever feel tonally imbalanced. I also thought that, you thought you were impressed by the special effects in Inception? That's cute. Watch this. So yeah, I really got a kick out of it. I thought it was funny and sad and, exciting. That was a good movie. So, also, yeah, full disclosure, Cargill's my best friend. So what are you going to do? But no, I can honestly say I really enjoyed it. Okay, I'm going to get the last superhero one out of the way. Deadpool. Deadpool, I thought, was hysterical. It was the movie it should have been. That was a Deadpool movie. You know, I've got Deadpool's first issue somewhere around here, you know, big fan. I'm not like one of those weird, like, Deadpool fans, because Deadpool fans are kind of like Harley Quinn fans.
Oh,
they're just
God.
Really weird and obsessive about it. Where they think that they are Deadpool and they act like the character, you know, and think that they're clever and they're not. But yeah, I thought it was a fun movie. It was amazing what they did on a low budget, and I'm really excited about the sequel. They got one of the guys from John Wick to direct, so hell yeah.
And I'm down for that, because that was I like Deadpool because it was like, hey, we hate comic book movies too, and then we made this.
I didn't get that sentiment from it exactly.
Really? Yeah, see, that's how I felt. I felt like it just completely went against what other people were doing, and just said, kind of, fuck you.
Oh yeah, no, and I'm really glad that happened, because it needed to happen. Hopefully, everyone will learn the right lessons from that, and not try to mimic it, not pull a Suicide Squad where they're like, oh, Guardians of the Galaxy had lots of pop songs. Let's put lots of pop songs. Let's see. The next one. Okay. Now we get into not quite. I was about to say we get into a lot of horror stuff, but not quite. The Nice Guys with Ryan Gosling and the Gladiator guy.
Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe. Why am I blanking on his name? The Gladiator guy. Jesus.
Almost made my top 10. Almost.
Yeah. God, it was just so gorgeously shot, and the set decoration and the costumes, and it was funny and. Man, it was just like I thought it was a perfect Shane Black film.
It is. Yeah.
I love crime noir, and God, I never would have thought that Ryan Gosling would give one of the funniest performances I've seen in a while, and he totally did. And plus, it's got that whole aesthetic that I like, the swinging 70s, colorful, tacky look, and it does that just with aplomb. It was so much fun. And now on to the horror, because I watch mostly horror.
Horror, bro.
Woo! Then I looked at a list of all the must-see horror movies of the year and realized I'd only seen like a couple of them.
Yeah, I know. I looked at the list too, and I was like, "Fuck." I'll catch them all. I'll catch them all in a couple months, I guess.
Yeah. Didn't see Lights Out. Didn't see the Beach sequel. Haven't seen Eyes of My Mother. All of those that I know I'm supposed to see. I haven't. But The Invitation. I love The Invitation. I thought it was just like this weird slow burn, and the lead character, this not Tom Hardy guy.
I know. I made that joke so many times. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah. I thought it was good, and I liked a single location, and the acting was good, and it kept me guessing until the end, and I don't want to spoil anything, but reminded me of a different movie. I can't even really talk about it, think of a way to talk about it without spoiling it. But I thought it was good, and it was a movie that mostly hinged on performances, which I really appreciate.
That was in my number 2 of last year.
See, I wasn't sure. I saw it this year, right?
No, it came out this year. Yeah. No, it came out this year. I saw it at South by Southwest, and it took forever to come out.
Okay, good. Because I was trying to keep it to 2016, but I wasn't sure when this.
No, you did right. I include festival movies because that's when I see them, and I don't want to wait a year and a half to talk about a movie.
Yeah, sure.
So I saw it at South by, and it blew me away. I equate that movie to holding a stick of dynamite, because it's going to blow up.
Yeah.
But maybe you're not looking at the wick.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit, I'm holding a stick of dynamite. My hand's going to blow up. I know what's going to happen. And it's going to happen.
You don't know exactly how either.
Yeah.
I mean, it does a really good job of kind of putting some red herrings in the way.
And when people are saying like it's really boring, what's going on. I'm like, yeah, you do know what's going on, but how terrifying is that shit?
Yeah.
But anyways, I'm on board with you on that one.
Yeah, really liked it. This one, it's going to make a lot of top tens, probably a little bit of a cop out, but The Witch. I thought The Witch was really smart and weird and creepy, and it had some subtext laid in there that was and a lot of the subtext is stuff that you can or can't take from it, and people can argue if it's even there or not. But I thought it had a lot to say about like the patriarchy, and also there's a lot of kind of an indictment of religion, or maybe an indictment of the abuse of religion. So I thought there was a lot going on. I thought it was a really smart film. And there was some creepy stuff. I do take issue with people saying, "Oh, it's the ultimate female empowerment movie." I was like, no, no, it's not. No, it's these women selling themselves out to the ultimate male, dominating monster, But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really cool.
That was my number one of last year.
Okay. Well,
you and I should get together.
Again? I promised my wife never again, Brad. The next one is a dark song that I saw at Fantastic Fest this year.
We argued over that one.
Oh yeah, you didn't like it
at all.
Yeah, that is crazy.
I was in the minority on that one, man. I don't know anybody else that didn't like it.
I understand you not.
I got to give it another watch, man. I guess because maybe I missed something.
I totally get it. It's one of those that, as a writer, I watched it and I was just kicking myself, like, why didn't I think of this? It's just a young woman, and she hires an occultist to perform a dangerous ritual. And this ritual is like all of the stuff with those weird, spooky books that I love to collect, like like the Lesser Key of Solomon and all the Grimoire Varium or Verum or however you pronounce that. All those old grimoires where it's like, this spell takes 6 months to cast, and you sit in this circle and focus on this rock, and then you can cast this incantation by summoning the demon who rules over the hour of 6 o'clock in the morning. It's all of that ancient, like, quote unquote real magic, I really liked it. I thought it was spooky and weird, and there's a lot of interpersonal drama and stuff like that. Yeah, just great. My favorite film of Fantastic Fest, actually. And also fuck Brad.
Damn.
And this one's cool. 10 Cloverfield Lane. I liked it a lot. Good sense of paranoia. And it's also another one of those, kind of like The Invitation, in that someone is crazy in this story, and you're pretty sure you know who, but you're not sure how they're crazy and how crazy they are. And also, I liked it because it's like, oh, no, this character is dangerous and crazy, but he's also right. And I thought that was just an interesting little turn. And I thought it was really tense. I loved the mystery of what was actually going on. I thought that was really played into J.J. Abrams' whole thing of the mystery box. Have lots of boxes that the audience has to open. I thought it was really expertly done, and hell of a lot of fun. Great performances in that too. Another bottle film, kind of like The Invitation.
That was on my list for quite some time, but it got booted. Glad you covered it. Thank you.
You're welcome. My last one is one that I saw this weekend, actually, at a festival called Other Worlds Austin. It's a sci-fi festival here in Austin, but they have just added, or they're starting to add more horror to the lineup. And that's what this was. It's called We Go On. And it is, from two directors, Jesse Holland and Andy Mitten. And they did Yellow Brick Road, if you remember that from a while back, which I know. I liked
you got to change the subject. I'm going to lose interest real quick.
Yeah, I liked a lot about Yellow Brick Road, but it didn't work for me. I liked a lot of the conceits and everything, but it didn't come through. This, however, I thought was great. It's about this guy named Miles who has all of these phobias, and he offers to pay someone for irrefutable proof of life after death. And unfortunately, he gets what he wants. And it's it does some interesting stuff, and the lead actor just kills it. He does such a good job. Yeah, I don't know anything about release or really much of the circumstances around this movie at all. But also, I had watched a couple of really terrible films before this at the festival, so maybe this offset my expectations a little bit. But I really, really enjoyed this film.
Nice.
Cool. All right, kill it, Sean.
Okay. I have a few that were on Jason's list, so I'll highlight those really quick. 10 Cloverfield Lane was on my list. John Goodman, for me, like, stole the film, and I could have done with it the last 15 minutes if they would just, ended it, the way they did. Or there's a breakoff point where, like, oh, it could end now, it'd be perfect. But I really dug it. His performance stuck with me. The Witch, I'm a sucker for anything involving religion and horror, and it was a perfect blend of both. And then The Nice Guys, was a breath of fresh air and, very witty and smart script. Very funny. So I'm with you on those. Shane Black forever. He can just keep on doing these flicks and I'll be happy.
Aside from Iron Man 3.
Yeah, that Iron Man 3 was like a studio mandated kind of Shane Black
like
film.
Setting shit on fire and then sitting on it and letting it burn you.
It's okay. It's okay.
No, it's not.
Slow down there.
Jeez.
Wow.
It's
all right, but I would.
It's a little better than Independence Day 2.
I would rather have Shane Black doing his own stuff, like The Nice Guys and just everything else. Just keep doing that. That's fantastic. Anyway, moving along. I had the same issue too as Jason. I don't go out to the theater as much, and I'm not, I'm a lot of times I'm catching up on stuff from the previous year or on crazy batshit, 80s movies that are being released on Blu-ray. So I'll continue with the rest of these. Hacksaw Ridge, new Mel Gibson flick. It gets a little bit melodramatic, but it's good to see Mel Gibson back in the director's chair just because he has such a great eye for violence and those scenes. It's probably the most tense I've been in a war film since Saving Private Ryan, and all those scenes are just work. And the movie itself, great film. I think Andrew Garfield's a little miscast, but he pulls it through. But really good film. See it in the theater if you can, just because the visceral experience of the battle scenes, pretty great. These are in no particular order, by the way. I'm just kind of going down my list. Next up, James Wan's Conjuring 2. I think it's a solid sequel. One of the few horror films I saw in the theater, and it worked. I was kind of worried that it wouldn't be as good as the first one. I think it is, and it takes place around Christmas time, doesn't it?
Yeah.
All right, so add that to your Christmas horror list, everyone.
It's a good one. It was good. It was very effective.
Yeah,
Loved it.
Fantastic.
It has that one shot with the painting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah.
Oh, very good. I haven't checked it out on Blu-ray yet, just because I'm like, I don't know if it'll work as well on a small screen.
I liked
that film.
I think I liked it better the second time around.
Did you? Okay, it's good to know. All right. Next up, Tex Montana Will Survive.
Oh, I want to see that.
It's funny because it was Kickstarter, right? Was it Kickstarter or was it Indiegogo? Either way, they raised money to release this, and they released it for free. It got just shitty reviews on Amazon Prime and YouTube and stuff like that. But it's, you got to look at what they did to do the movie. I mean, it's just, Jeremy, right?
Yeah, they literally went out on a weekend to make it, and that was it.
It's him the whole time, and it's I think it's a feat that I don't think enough people talk about. I mean, can you imagine? He carries the whole film, and he's great in that character. The Tex Montana character is fantastic. My wife and I are always talking to each other. We're always dropping in "survive" like whenever anything happens, and even the kids got to know. They saw a few of his little shorts and his little YouTube shorts, and my kids are yelling "survive." Like, it's a very endearing character, and like I don't see how anybody could really shit on that. Like, I think it's a lot of fun to spend time with this guy in the woods who's very inept and trying to survive on his own in the wilderness. Just great. I think it deserves more credit than it got. I feel like it should have come out and it should have been, way more, talked about way more than it was. But I'm glad that it helped kind of, Jeremy and Christian. Like, I'm glad that it kind of helped catapult them into doing the next movie they want to do, and I'm excited to see, what that leads to. I got a couple kids films, family films, of course. This was normally it's very hard to come by a really good family film that I feel like will, that I'll rewatch with the kids. But two came out this year that I absolutely adored. The first one was Disney's remake of Pete's Dragon, and I'm a fan of the original one, and I liked that they took a different approach with this one. It's pretty much it's a boy and his dragon. But it's a whole different other plot, and the soundtrack to the film, I think it takes place up in the Pacific Northwest, doesn't it? I don't know. But, I don't know. I mean, who as a kid never, dreamed about having their own pet, like dragon or dinosaur or whatever? I mean,
mine were dinosaurs because I wanted eggs and they hatched, and then I took care of them like in prehistoric.
Yeah.
So.
But, it takes that and it, it's really effective. The kids loved it. It is a bit ballsy on the open because it opens with a family in a car and everything's happy, and it opens like in Disney fashion, like it opens with a tragedy very quickly. And the original Pete's Dragon, it never went there. Like, it was just, oh, this is orphan and his dragon. You never really think about how he became an orphan. This movie approaches that scenario, and it's pretty damn ballsy. Like, I was like, oh fuck, let's just start the movie with a downer, because it's pretty hardcore, and I thought that it should be applauded. Having a family film that's willing to kind of, go there and start the movie out. But strong family film. Not all of you are gonna be like, I'm gonna go run a family film tonight. But if you're a fan of Disney and these remakes they're doing, I think it's a strong one. And I don't know, I really dug it for what it was. Next up, Kubo and the Two Strings, the Leica stop motion animated film. It's just a work of art, gorgeous, beautiful. From Leica's got me, Leica Studios, they've done Coraline, and they did, what's the one?
Is that the monster?
The boy and the zombies. Paranorman.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah. They're just really good. This one, I had the only issue I had was with some of the voice casting. You can always tell George Clooney's voice. It kind of took me out of the film a little bit whenever that character would talk. But other than that, just a fantastic, gorgeous film. What I like about it too is it's a family film, but it's not afraid to go dark. It's not afraid to kind of push the limits of of the family-friendly stuff. Paranorman the same way. The Paranorman brings up one of the characters turns out to be gay, and they just kind of brush that aside. They don't shy away from things that normally a family film if you would think would maybe shy away from that. But even with Coraline, it's a very dark story, and I appreciate kind of seeing that back in family films. Adding that bit of an edge to the films that I always responded to as a kid, and I know that my kids are respond to that too. It's a little bit dangerous, and they kind of know it, and it kind of makes it that much more exciting that they're kind of straddling the line with everything. So that was pretty fantastic. And let's see, I had a couple more here. This action flick, Mel Gibson starring in Bloodfather. It's kind of a middling action movie, but it's I think it's just because I'm a Mel Gibson fan, and it's fun to see him kind of back at things. I think he's really good in it.
He's really good when he's protecting or avenging his family.
He is.
That's like his thing.
He is, and bearded Mel Gibson in Bloodfather is fantastic. A lot of themes in there that I think kind of mirror his personal life with the alcoholism, like kind of a guy coming out of alcoholism and needing to kind of piece his life back together. So there's those themes in there that I thought was really kind of cool to see him mirroring real life, his own personal demons. And then there's Nazi biker gangs he has to deal with and cartels and stuff like that. I think it's a really decent action flick. He's really strong in it, and it's definitely worth checking out. And then finally, I think this is 10. Yeah. There's a Korean film called The Wailing. And I talked about this before. I'm trying to find the director.
I spot it's on Netflix now.
Just came on Netflix. It's 2.5 hours, but don't let that daunt you. Don't let that keep you from seeing it. Directed by Hong Jin Na, and like a stranger comes into this village, and there's been like some weird sickness where people go crazy and start attacking other people. Kind of like it seems like a zombie thing, but it's not. Kind of goes into like a more of a possession type film. You don't really know how the stranger's involved, but it's so layered and so intricate with the story. It's very, like, it's not painting in broad strokes. Like, there's so many things to digest in this film. Like, even with like religion butting heads with like tradition, and even I don't know. It's just a very strong film. Like, when I got done watching it, I wanted to watch it again and digest it, and that doesn't really happen that often with films like this. Like, you'll watch a horror movie and you'll be one and done, and you'll move on to the next thing. Oh, that was scary. But this thing like brought up so many different like, even for me, like theological aspects and of religion and how they're all intertwined. And I'm really excited to sit down and watch it again. I haven't had 2.5 hours to sit down and watch it again, but I definitely will be catching it. So yeah, it's on Netflix, so you really have no excuse now, and it also has a pretty good-looking Blu-ray from a while ago. So that's my top 10 of 2016.
Damn, bro.
Damn.
That's crazy. All right.
I did it. You know how hard it is for me to friggin' write down friggin' 10 movies.
You did a fantastic job.
Oh, thanks, Brad. I appreciate it.
I thought it was adequate.
I at least try to be adequate.
Yeah. No,
there's so many
Goff-
movies that I haven't seen yet that I'm kicking myself that I know, or like 2016 had a lot of really good horror movies and really good films. I just hadn't got around to seeing them all yet. So, I don't know.
I'm proud of you.
So no one write in and go, what about this movie? What about that movie? It's like, I probably didn't see it. Oh, by the end of the month, I'll probably say, here's my top 10. Rogue One, Rogue One, Rogue One, Rogue One, Rogue One. And then I'll do
Oh, wow. I totally left off Force Awakens. Wait, no. That was 2015.
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably would have left it off anyway.
Rogue One all day.
Rogue One looks amazing.
All right, Brad, what's up?
All right, so here we go. Mine actually is probably my favorite, my number one. I'll mention last because I think I did put these in. I think I did put these in order.
Good job.
So, and actually, I had a quick change because I realized that the first film I was going to mention was released theatrically in 2015. So I have to change that, which I actually had a top 11, which works out.
Oh.
That film was American Ultra, but I will take it off because that was last year.
That's a fun flick.
That's good.
Underrated.
Yeah.
So, yeah, extremely. So my number 10 was a film called Francesca. It is a newer film. Unearthed Films released it on Blu-ray recently. It made its way around festivals a little bit. I guess at the end of 2015. But it's a really bizarre giallo film. It's in vein of who is clicking their mouse? Who's looking at porn? I should say.
That was so it's a little surfing and jerking there, but
I knew it was going to be Jason, because Sean's hand is on my dick.
Hey,
So,
wow.
there you go.
Okay,
You're welcome, Sean.
So it's podcast.
So Francesca is, it's filmed in that way where it looks like it's super old. But it's just a really bizarre film, like it would be in the 70s and early 80s. It's got a killer ending. It has a wonderful soundtrack. I suggest picking up the limited edition 3-disc from Unearthed. If you're a Giallo fan, you won't be upset. Next up was a film I saw at South by Southwest this year called Teenage Cocktail. It's about a group of high school girls that decide to make some extra money through webcamming. And they get caught up with a predator, kind of. He's being led on. Pat Healy's character plays a scummy webcam auteur, I guess. I don't know what he loves it. He likes to, do what Jason's is doing, to jerk it. And he gets caught up in this huge fucking thing. Really good, very gritty, very dirty, lot of fun. Next up, I know I'll still get shit for this, but I'm super on board with this movie. The Boy. I know people fucking hate this movie. I love The Boy. If you have, and I'm talking about the one with Rupert Everins, my homeboy from Asylum Blackout. But I don't know. It's just one of those films where it feels like Hammer-esque Victorian Euro horror, and the way it looks, it's shot really well. A woman is being caretaker for the house. She's told that there's a boy that she's got to take care of. Turns out be a doll, and some weird shit starts happening with the doll around. Love it. So next up was a very, very small film, micro budget. I mentioned a couple times on the show already. They Look Like People.
Almost made my top 10.
Yeah. It's this film is truly terrifying. It's so fucking good. It's very well done. I mean, this film couldn't have been made more than just for a couple grand. And it's extremely effective. Basically, it's two friends that haven't really kept in contact, get in contact, and he realizes that his buddy is basically his friend tells him that these shapeshifters, or what would you really call them, Jason? They're not really shapeshifters. They're what do they call those people?
Like doppelgangers, or God, no.
Yeah, no, it's like not morphing, but there's a name for it. But they'll turn into like a creature.
I can't remember. Yeah,
and he tells his friend that these people are taking over the world, and he's getting these phone calls saying the world will end when you hear 3 lightning crashes, and then emergency sirens, and you need to prepare because these things are taking over the world, and you'll have to fight. It's fucking incredible. It's so good. Next up was The Autopsy of Jane Doe.
Oh,
which I saw at Fantastic Fest. Brian Cox and Amelia Hirsch. Great fucking chemistry between these two. They work so perfect together. Basically, a son and a father and son mortician company. Late one night, they get a Jane Doe in, and the sheriff needs an answer of cause of death ASAP. And they slowly discover a grisly and haunting past of this Jane Doe. Truly terrifying movie, and you don't expect it either. That's what I loved about it. Now it's, of course, the trailer, shows you a lot more than what we knew going in. We just knew it was going to be an autopsy movie. We had no idea that this movie was going to go where it did. Next up was, this is being released by Arrow. This is one of the films that everybody bitched about that was being released in the December lineup, or January lineup, I guess, called We Are the Flesh. Did you see this one, Jason?
I think I wait, was that this year?
Yeah.
No, I did not.
Okay.
That's why.
Is that the one where the guy gives like a blowjob from his sister?
Yeah, so I don't know if we mentioned that on the show, is that I was really excited to see this movie at Fantastic Fest. And so somebody was searching, I guess, for We Are the Flesh, and they kept asking anybody that tweeted We Are the Flesh, is it true that you get to see the sister give a graphic blowjob to her brother?
This guy was really, really
He was really into it. And buddy, if you're listening to the show, yes, you do. It is about a low-life dude, kind of scum of the earth, living and trying to survive, this homeless guy in his own little world. A brother and sister stumble upon him, living in this weird shit, and it becomes a drug-fueled sexual incest story of these people living in this makeshift home of whatever the fuck they're doing. It's really bizarre because it's very, post-apocalyptic feel. And just a really bizarre movie. And it's extremely graphic. Anywhere from ejaculating to hardcore blowjobs to whatever. Yeah. I mean, it's not really sexy at all. It's just, it's pretty graphic and gross. And I know a lot of people weren't on board, but I tell you, man, the last 5 minutes of that movie sells you 100%. It's so fucking good. So if you are watching it and you're like, ugh, is this to be shock value? Like, are they just doing this to push buttons? Maybe. But there is a payoff. I will tell you that. If there's no payoff, I would have been pissed. But anyways, go see Where Are the Flesh. It's out on Arrow. This is their first contemporary release that they're releasing over here.
Yeah, they have like a line where over here, yes. I mean, they released.
Yeah, over there they do it all the time.
They released Voices over there in the UK. But this is their first US release of a current film.
And then next up was one of the most fucked up movies I've ever seen in my entire life. And I watch a lot of fucked up shit.
What?
So when Brad says, hey man, this movie's fucked up, I'm not like watching some shit where a kid gets killed and people are like, oh man, kid gets killed. It's really fucked up. No, this movie's fucked. It's called Cat Sick Blues. If you like cats and you might not want to watch the movie. It has some kitty death.
Oh.
So it is, stick with me here. Stick with me. It is about it's a dark comedy as well as a horror film as well as a thriller. It's definitely a genre mashup. And it has this kind of like surreal, like new wave feel to it. Think of all like the new wave music, like synthy stuff. But think about how those people look in those music videos. Like a lot of pink, a lot of short shorts, like hipster deal. Like blend that into the movie as well. So it is about a woman who has a cat that has gone viral that people just love. So she makes these cat videos of her cat and makes money. In the meantime, there is a serial killer who is violently killing women. He has to kill 9 women in order to bring his dead cat back to life. This woman some shit goes down with her, and she has to go to a self-help type thing, meetings, in order to recover from a tragedy that she undergoes. A very graphic tragedy. And meets this serial killer, and he falls in love with her while he's trying to kill all these women with his cat dick. Yes, there is a cat dick.
I thought maybe I misheard you for a second, but no.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. It's a really fucking weird movie. You can see a trailer for it probably and kind of get where I'm getting at.
I'm good.
Yeah, definitely go see it. It's really, 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 really fucked up and hilarious at the same time. It's kind of odd to say the movie's funny, but it makes fun of society as well. But it is sometimes a hard watch, I guess, for people. So next up is Arrival with Amy Adams. Did you catch this one at Fantastic Fest, Jason?
No, I skipped it because I always try to pick something. No, I always try to pick something at Fantastic.
No, I gotcha.
That's opposite of a big release.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it yet, unfortunately.
So Arrival, not too much you can say, other than, Amy Adams is a language expert. A spaceships land from, kind of all over the world. I think there's like 12 or 13 of them. And in one place, the doors open up and the scientists are allowed to go up into this, area and see the aliens. And the aliens are trying to communicate. So they hire a language expert to try to decipher what they're actually saying. And her and a colleague are basically writing down exactly what these things are showing, because they're doing it through pictures. That's how they communicate. And trying to decide why they are here. It's a fucking punch in the fucking face, this movie. It's so fucking good. The Fantastic Fest, if you don't know, if you haven't been, is a genre festival with a lot of fucked up shit. You see a lot of fucked up shit. You do even fucked up shit. It's a lot of fun. It's a festival with some teeth. When you watch the very first movie at Fantastic Fest and pretty much 90% of the theater is walking out with tears in their eyes, something's up. Like, we're all fucking teary-eyed. I'm like, wait, are we supposed to be crying in the first movie of fucking Fantastic Fest? But yeah, it's fucking amazing. It's really good. And then next up was a female, first time debut, female director from France, a film called Raw, that I saw at Fantastic Fest as well. Fantastic Fest always has like 4 or 5 movies that are going to be in my top 10 of every year. But Raw is a story about a vegetarian and her sister are going to veterinarian school, and she slowly realizes she has a taste for flesh. And it's a story about a coming-of-age story about 2 sisters and their dealing with cannibalism. It's very art housey. Obviously, Argento is a huge inspiration. It has a mix of like kind of Italian cinema, Italian horror, great soundtrack, beautiful movie, an absolutely gorgeous film, as well as it's just a lot of fun because it's kind of fucked. And then last but not least, my number 1 of the year. And that said, when I very first saw this film at South by Southwest, I walked out of the theater and I was like, all right, this movie's definitely in my top 10. Right now it's my number 1. I was like, something's going to make it slide, and nothing did. And then it came out on Blu-ray, and I was like, all right, I'm going to watch it again. And I watched it again, and I loved it. And then I was like, man, is this one of my favorite films of all time? Like, is this in my like top 100? And like, I watch it again, and I'm like, man, like, it's like, I feel like this movie is going to be like in my top 10 of like all time. Like that's how I feel.
Of all time?
Yeah, of all time. And my top 10 of all time is a pretty fucking good list. I'm not gonna lie. And so like I watch it again, and I've seen this movie 4 times. And usually when, cause you get off a high, you get out of the theater, you're like, yeah, that movie's fucking great. Like, I love it. Number 1. Yeah. And then like you let it digest and you're like, yeah, I like that movie. It's good. I just was a high. Anytime I mention that, like right now, I just want to quit the podcast and just fucking watch it. Anytime that somebody mentions this movie, anytime that I hear a song from the movie, I immediately want to watch it. And I'll be safe to say it's at least in my top 20 of all time. I don't think it's made it the top 10 yet because it's got some hurdles to jump through because it just came out. It came out, earlier this year. Everybody Wants Some.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, I absolutely adore this movie to the fullest. I'm a big Dazed and Confused fan, and at this point in time, I like it more than Dazed and Confused. Maybe because I can relate to it a little bit more, as well as it feels more on a normal plane of kind of a buddy hangout movie, because there's not as many events as there is in like kind of Dazed and Confused. But it's funny. It's just hysterical. It really is, and it also has this down to earth atmosphere and truth behind it. A big sense of realism for me, mainly because I would hang out with a large group of people and friends, and it was a mixture of people. It was punks, preps, goths, anything you could think of. It was just a big group of people, and this movie it felt like it was more accepting to kind of more than just your baseball jocks, because the movie's about a baseball. 2 houses that house 9 players each, or is it 9? Whatever. So two houses that house a baseball team, and it's about 3 days before school starts. So they get there and they practice, and they get into trouble and drink and do everything. But it's just kind of everywhere. It goes every direction, and I love that aspect about it. It's very funny. It's got some great characters. It's got some great one-liners, and it has a fucking killer soundtrack.
Have not seen it.
So yeah, this movie completely blew me away. Like I said, I've seen it 4 times this year, but it's one of those things where I'll probably watch it 10 times next year. It's just one of those movies that I'm constantly going to be putting on, just because. Like, yeah, it's perfect. It's a 10.
Does it have any like incestuous blowjobs or dead cats?
It's a very tame pick.
It does not. It does not.
I'm perplexed.
But it, yeah. I mean, it's hard to say because when the trailer came out, the trailer kind of sucks.
I haven't had any desire to see it other than you keep mentioning it.
Yeah, it like after I saw the trailer, I was like, eh. But, I was at South by Southwest, it was playing, and I actually got sick, like really, really sick this year at South by Southwest, where I was like down for like 3 days and didn't see any movies. So, and I really wanted to get to see this one because I saw the trailer, I was like, eh. But then I had a friend say, hey man, I really think you'd like this movie. It is a friend that I trust. And so I was like, I got enough strength to go see it, and I was like fucking miserable getting there. And then this movie just made me feel great. And then I was like, was it because of that? And then I watched it again and watched it again and watched it again. And I'm like, no, this movie's just fucking perfect. I don't think there's too many 10s out there, but this movie's a 10 to me. So.
Damn.
Okay. Well, I will move that to the top of my list.
I just bought it on Blu-ray with Dazed and Confused for $20 total.
Yeah. It's
I'm not gonna say where I bought it from. Brad.
It's verboten.
Well, it's fine because I don't think Mike carries it. That one's fun. But
it's a pretty good deal. It's a pretty good deal.
I'm just saying, man, it's a perfect movie.
All right. Well, that'll be some fun viewing. I'm sure my wife will dig it. Her and I also
Honestly, dude,
I'll sit down and watch both.
I haven't met anybody that hasn't loved it.
Oh, you go to Amazon, it only has 3 stars. But, those Amazon reviews are pretty, pretty thought-provoking.
Did you happen to see, I think Jason might enjoy this because he's a serial killer. Did you happen to see the guy that was in, North Carolina, South Carolina, that was the serial killer who they just caught?
No.
So anyways, they found this serial killer, up north.
I don't know anything about this at all, Brad.
So he's he's caught, so it's not you.
Yeah, okay, that's what that means.
So he's it was weird because there was this couple missing and they were gone, and then all of a sudden these Facebook posts started hitting, and it was hey, we got married. It was really weird, but it turned out to be this guy who killed them, and he was posting from their phone of them continuing in their life. They found a woman chained up. It was really bizarre.
They found that woman in a barrel. Is that
I don't know. I
I
think this was in a cage, and she was still alive.
Wow.
There's one where they found a woman in a barrel still alive.
Maybe that was it. But anyways, that guy, they don't know how many people as of yet. That last time I checked, which was probably a few weeks ago. I haven't checked up on, but we were talking about Amazon reviews. Well, anyways, this guy, he bought padlocks, a chainsaw off Amazon. He was leaving Amazon reviews the Amazon review for the chainsaw said works really well, but it's really hard when the person is running around.
What?
Are you fucking with me?
No, I'm dead serious. Just type in on Google, type in Amazon killer or serial killer Amazon reviews, and you'll see he was also quoting Eagles lyrics, and the padlocks is something works great, person can't get out or something like that. So
they call him the zero fucks given killer.
So he has multiple Amazon reviews where he's reviewing it. Oh, one was a shovel, says work really great when digging a hole, but would like to have a midget with it. Just really bizarre reviews. Well, anyways.
Yeah, this is the dude. She killed the boyfriend or husband or whatever and locked her up and
then posted on Facebook of her and him getting married or some shit. I don't know. It's a really bizarre story. I mean, it's terrible.
Holy
what
shit.
happened, obviously. Yeah. It's really fucked up. So it's not really funny, but there is some kind of dark humor in leaving Amazon reviews as a serial killer. So Jason, you need to watch what you're posting, bro.
Yeah, I gotta sanitize that. I'm going through my Twitter right now.
delete. Clear history.
Clean it all up.
Anyways, it's interesting if you're into serial killer. You ever listen to Last Podcast on the Left?
No.
Oh, well, it's a really fucking crazy show. It's about a group of guys that analyze everything about serial killers. They'll pick a serial killer and they'll talk about him for 2 or 3 shows, but they'll get really into it. Very, very interesting.
Wow.
If you're into that dark shit. I mean, I know it's everybody's oh, that's terrible. Yeah, it is fucking terrible, but it happens. And it's reading about it. It's interesting to me.
I'm cool with analysis and interesting. What kills me is these people on Instagram, who post pictures of Richard Ramirez and oh my God, he's so sexy and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, that's the weird shit. Yeah.
It's you're the dumbasses that write letters to people in prison, to serial killers in prison, you fucking nut jobs.
Yeah, there's no reason to glorify them by any means, but there is kind of an interesting concept of who's behind those, behind that act of those horrific crimes. And, the story of Ted Bundy is fucking incredible. What he did in if anybody knows, Ted Bundy escaped 2 times out of custody and killed afterwards.
Did not know that. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
he was able to just one time he went on a killing spree for I think 6 months or some shit, and the other one he was quickly caught, but he still escaped twice. And it's just by him being the manipulative dick he was.
Ridiculous.
What is happening right now?
Sorry, it's
is it puppies?
It's puppies. Yeah, they're being loud. My apologies.
It's all good. All right, and with that, gentlemen, I think we need to wrap up this episode.
Yes, we do, because it's 1:15.
Heck yeah. Jason Murphy, thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. We'll put links to your stuff on the show notes. Of course, your website, jasonsmurphy.com.
Yes.
People can check you out there. You can check us out over at thescreamcast.com. All of our social media bullshit is over there. Make sure you check out our sponsors and give them some love. Let us know that we sent you over there. You can, of course, buy Vinegar Syndrome Flicks. Check out Coffee Shop of Horrors over at coffeeshopofhorrors.com. You can put in the code ScreamCast when you check out. You get 10% off your order. Grindhousevideo.com. Order all your stuff through them, please. And let
unless
me know.
Unless it's everybody wants some, then I guess you can.
Right, I mean, your horror titles, right? Okay, horror and exploitation.
But fuck Amazon, am I right?
Yes.
You're serious about this.
We want to thank Wolfman of Mars for supplying music for the show and Kevin Spencer for creating our logos for the show. I was on the latest Splathouse episode, their Red Rock West episode. I played Nicolas Cage's character in their opening skit.
Said it wrong again. It's Splatcast.
So check that out over at splathouse.com. We'll talk to all of you guys next time. I believe we are trying to get Brian Sauer to come back. So you have to check back and see if that actually happens. I'll talk to all of you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, don't tell me you're leaving. Party's just begun.
Criterion releases a bunch of friggin' artsy-fartsy bullshit.
Whoa!
By Criterion if it's like a genre release. Like if they release RoboCop on Criterion, fuck yeah. Re-release The Rock on Criterion and Blu-ray, fuck yeah.
Broaden your shit a little bit. I mean, fucking Criterion's been killing it.
Wages of
they're okay.
All of their Wes Anderson stuff.
They just released One-Eyed Jacks.
I don't know if that is.
Marlon Brando's One-Eyed Jacks on Blu-ray. Oh, Sean.
I don't got time for that shit.
You know why you don't have time for that shit? Waxwork double feature.
Exactly.